All
I should
right.
be good.
I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Yes, that's cool.
All right. Who wants to catch us up on what happened 4 weeks ago?
Oh,
Well, it's usually Basil that gives us the recap,
Yeah,
so I'm
I
gonna
didn't
throw
get a
him under the
chance to
bus.
finish the entire video, so I'm only caught up.
Watch it this morning either.
Oh, I watched it today and it was hilarious.
I think there was a lot of mistrust that was happening.
Yes.
I have 3 bullet points from the last episode. I have Cam left and Elle freaked out. Apoc is really pissed at Basil, and
Yep.
Aurora joined the party, among other things. But that's my main bullet point.
Great. That sums it up.
The fourth bullet point that I have is try to work in Aurora Borealis somehow.
Oh my god.
oh.
See, you you
And I
blew
think
your
that might
shot.
be the best I get.
You blew your shot.
I think that's where it dies.
And
Live fast, die young. You did good.
Mhm.
Okay. Good job, guys. Yeah, I had very little notes from last time too, and that's
we went to bed. Or we were getting
The
ready to
last-
go to bed. I don't know if we actually went to bed yet.
Yeah, the last thing is we met. Brenna and Ajax are still alive, and Speaker
Mhm.
did it is with them, along with a strig that most of the party recognized from their interpretive dance audience. Yeah, that's
so you had a little Elle had a little bit of a freak out in the main square of Bracken Mill. You are on the southeast side of Alderheart. Nope, the southeast side of Humblewood, sorry. After Cam vanishes, leaving behind some of his possessions to those of you fortunate enough to find an extra little something in your pockets. But a torrent of wind as your distraught, tiny little pigeon dove friend almost flattened the perch of Bracken Mill. Thankfully, you were able to reach her in time and met up with a new friend, a snow fox Fulpin, Aurora, who seems to have been trying to track your now missing party member, Camembert. There was some discussion about what to do, and some high tensions between others, which was really funny to remember now that someone has mentioned it. And as the day kind of wore on, doing a little bit of talking in the tried and true, you decided to go and find if Brenna, Ceridian, and Ajax were indeed still alive, and ended up meeting up with 4 figures: Brenna and Ajax, as well as Speaker and her single guard that she was allowed to bring, who some of you recognized as the Strig, and introduced himself as Riffin.
Riffin?
Riffin.
Okay.
We ended the episode as you were all starting to make your way back to Bracken Mill, with promises of a drink and potentially some fast travel back to Alderheart if that is indeed where you wanted to go, as well as promise of an update from the speaker regarding the fires and news from the tenders that you had been promised what seems like ages ago before you left to deal with the bandits. And we can pick up as all of you, a party of 9 now.
A fellowship.
Yeah, a
if you
party
will.
of 9. A fellowship, there you go. A fellowship is walking back to the city of Bracken Mill, back into the ground zero that not too long ago, a couple hours ago, was a perfect circle of flattened grass that seems to have been cared for, brushed back to almost a standing position. You are getting into more of the twilight evening, early evening, as it seems that's when the talks between the bandits and the council had concluded for the day. And as the Brenna kind of looking at all of you, Ajax kind of looking at all of you, starting to just sort of move around in their armor a little bit, in their vestments. Drink, drink. drinks all around?
Sure.
Yeah, we might have some catching up to do, because now that I actually look at you all, you're missing the little annoying one. Can't remember his name.
He's right there.
No, no, not the knight, not the knight. The other little annoying one. Seems like you've had an eventful couple days.
I think your suggestion of a cup of tea is a very good idea.
I was thinking something stronger, but fine. That's fine. As she just sort of marches straight up like the main winding staircase to the main tree where the sunny silkworm is around. As you come back into town, you do notice that there are still people who are. The town looks pretty much fixed from the windstorm a couple hours ago. When you left to go and try and find the speaker, you had noticed that a lot of the signs were being screwed back onto their hinges. It now looks basically like nothing had happened, with the exception of the circle of grass that has yet to fully right itself. But a lot of the damage that was done has been undone fairly quickly in this community. You do see people just walking more quietly along the rope bridges, the little kind of fairy light lanterns just giving a soft sort of glow. It's a little bit foggy tonight as the evening sets in, but you're able to make your way back to the sunny silkworm. No untoward glances that you notice at this time with the few people that are out. But it is brightly lit and warm on the inside, as you can see Farron behind the bar, the multi-limbed inchworm just pouring drinks as per usual. His little bow tie is like a bright hot pink tonight, as he's just doing his thing. If any of you want to do something, just stop me. But the speaker, did you want to do something?
I mean, are we with Farron still?
The speaker was actually going to go up to the bar and order some drinks for the group of you, Riffin, the Strig, following not too far behind her. As you see Brenna and Ajax just kind of like meander over towards a table, kind of looking over their shoulder to see if you're following. You can walk up to Farron if you want.
Hey, Farron, is there a slam poetry contest happening tonight?
I forgot about that. What'd you say?
Slam poetry. Sorry, it's loud in here.
It's loud in
Slam poetry.
Oh, Sham Pottery. No, that's next door.
Slam poetry.
No, that's you're thinking of next week, Wednesday.
Okay.
Not tonight. Are you gonna stay?
Maybe.
This is shouting across the bar from the entrance.
Elle's really good. I mean, rookie's good.
You lasted like a day and a half with your nicknames, just as an FYI, guys. Okay, put her on the list. He gives like one thumbs up from one of his arms. You look over and you see Brenna just like staring at you from her table.
Add Branna Ceridian as well.
Who's going up to get drinks and who's going to sit down?
Mrs. Q feels like she may need to order her own drink, because if she allows others to order for the table, she'll end up with something she doesn't want. So Mrs. Q volunteers to go up to order the drinks and asks, "What's everybody having?"
I'll stay at the table with the little one, but any type of spirits would be good. I'm not a beer drinker myself.
I'm gonna have the half peach juice and half beer. We'll call it the Cam.
I think that was
Was it half peach and beer? That's what I thought.
wasn't it Mrs. Q that came up with the Rattler?
I think
it was
it was a
Elle wouldn't remember at this point.
Yeah.
else out of time.
Yeah. We'll call it a dirty Q.
God.
You certainly will not. Apoc, what would you like to drink?
I'll also have a dirty Q.
Yeah.
A
You
bloody,
will have mint tea if you don't answer nicely.
a bloody rosemary.
A bloody rosemary.
Okay. Mrs. Q is just gonna order. She walks away and goes up to the bar.
As you go, you see Riffin and the speaker walking back to the table carrying like 9 glasses of wine to the table. But yes, you can go, and Farron will after overhearing Bloody Rosemary and Dirty Q, he's already got like the smirk on his little inchworm face. He's got like super chubby cheeks. And he's like already mixing the peach juice with like 2 of his arms as you approach, and just take care of them tonight.
I'm going to need the strongest tea you have.
Doable. I can do that.
Thank
Not
you.
a problem.
Can I, like, while all this is starting, just like whip out some stationery that I've procured in the past, and just like a kid out of Montana's just start whipping out like advertisements and recipes for dirty Q's and bloody rosemaries?
Absolutely. Are you handing them out?
No, I was gonna put them up in the bar, but like
Oh gosh, even better.
eventually.
Elle brings out her crayons and helps you start.
Yeah,
all of them.
can this be a joint effort?
Absolutely.
Do we need to roll?
Give me.
Are you good at?
You can give me either a performance. Are you proficient with like, I don't know, drawing supplies?
I would assume it'd be some sort of dexterity, but
Are
like
I,
you just
not-
need dexterity?
I
I'm not
roll
proficient.
If I'm helping, I can roll performance because I'm pretty.
If
I got a
if
pretty
she's
good-
good, can I just guide her? Like, can I not guide, but like,
Give us
could
a
you roll
sense.
advantage? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
You can roll with advantage.
Yeah. It's a joint effort.
Okay.
I'm making the lines and Elle's coloring in them.
Okay. I got a 10 on my first, and then a 16 plus 3, so a 19.
Okay.
Nice.
19 in coloring.
I mean, yes. However, you are 12, and unless you're Picasso, which I don't think you are, I think it's just a really, you colored in the lines. You didn't color too far outside of them. Like, it looks pretty good. Your sun has some like really cool shades on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like 1 notch above stick figures, but they're like really good.
Apoc's just gonna put them up. He's not even gonna ask.
You can see where there have been like, like A plus S in a heart, kind of just like burned in with little magics or little matches or carved in. They're very, very small so as to not to disturb the wood, but you can also see where it looks like Farron may have varnished over the wood itself, because this is built into a tree. You can see where Farron may have varnished over so that it's like sealed underneath, just little memories, and you just plaster right over it with your posters.
Oh.
I think
They're-
it's super
they're
cute
up
that
now.
the initials you chose were A and S, Andrea.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but it was super
Yes.
You can put them up wherever you want.
Perfect.
Not a problem. Mrs. Q at this time is able to return with your round of drinks, as it's a little bit squishy. You kind of have one of those corner spots where you're all sort of shoved in, but there is 9 of you, and one of you is a very large servant. But you're able to just sort of hunker down. You can see the speakers sort of like this, sipping her wine between her guard, Riffin, and whoever is on the other side of her. And as she kind of just like takes the first couple sips, relaxes, Riffin takes off his helmet, and Ajax starts to kind of take off his bracers and tuck them into his bag. You can see them all visibly start to relax and just sort of sigh. And it is the Strig, Riffin, who kind of takes a big swig from his glass of wine, puts it down. So, ooh, are you all? I think I might be the only one who doesn't know. We're that kind of a group, are we? Mm-hmm.
We don't actually have a leader. So
That's not what I asked.
I know, but usually a leader just comes out and says. Maybe that's the first thing we have to establish.
How about you just start with your names?
Our real names or our fake names?
Let's. He exchanges a look with the speaker who's just quietly just like sipping her wine. I'm gonna go with real names.
Apoc.
Great.
Oh, I wasn't sure where you were looking. Mrs. Q will do just fine, thank you.
Mrs. Q. Certainly.
Basil.
Fellow Knight.
Langston.
The Vulpin, the
Um,
youngling.
you can call me Aurora Winters.
Very saucy.
I'm imagining
I
like
tried to shame.
eyelashes flashing.
Yeah. All right. Winters.
Yeah,
Okay.
from the Alderheart Winters.
Ooh.
Rings a bell. What about you, little one?
Elle just has her beak like in her drink, like blowing bubbles and not really listening. It just kind of looks up and like splashes whoever's next to her.
You showed her that video?
No, but I have to.
I'm Elle.
Oh, all right. A bit of a motley crew going on here. Griffin, pleasure to meet you all. We actually met a couple, well, never met, but I saw a couple of you before. One of you is not here anymore, but I saw a couple of you before in the council chambers. And he kind of looks over at the white peahen, the speaker, before looking back. I grew up in Ashboro, and I never actually got a chance to talk to you about what you said in the chamber. Do you know what happened? And you can see the speaker, Brenna Ceridian, and Ajax all kind of put down their drinks. They're looking at like their drinks themselves, like just sort of looking at the liquid, swirling it around a bit, but you can tell they're listening sort of intently for your response.
Out of game, Ashboro is the place of the bird, right?
Yes.
Correct. Session number 1 was
I thought that was
Yep.
what it was
Yeah.
called.
yeah, the first town that had been taken by the Scorched Grove in its expansion.
Okay. Have you heard from anyone from Ashboro recently?
I left Ashboro a number of years ago. Me and my friend Oddwald, we went adventuring for a while. I kind of went home and back, but one night Oddwald just left me a note, said he had to go and do his own thing, so I volunteered to join the Perch Guard in Alderheart, and I haven't gone back in 5 years. And now it sounds like there's nothing to go back to. I haven't heard from anyone.
You're a Strig, right?
Yes, this is a string.
No, I'm asking.
Oh, yes.
Do you know a Kara? From Ashboro? That's who we heard it all from. Where was this, Meadowfen? Where'd we start?
Meadowfen.
Kara was a scout from Meadowfen sent to Ashboro when trade routes
Yeah.
stopped going back and forth.
That's what I was about to tell him. We met this scout from
sorry.
Ashford.
I thought you were asking me.
No.
I'm rusty, okay? It's been 4 weeks.
Here was a scout in a mission to the north. She told us that Ashboro burned down.
So you haven't actually seen it?
Have you?
Not in 5 years, no.
We were gonna investigate it, but we kind of got pulled off track by this whole bandit thing.
You can see Brenna's one good eye kind of side-eye you as you say that.
I mean, it was a good purpose, but like, where a path took us. You know, you follow your feet and you just keep walking, right? So you know you're going in the right direction.
That is wise and confusing. Equal parts.
I'm Apoc.
Yeah. All right.
I'm afraid we haven't
Sort of like,
oh, since.
What's that?
Oh, I'm just saying that we haven't heard any news of Ashboro or the people of Ashboro since we left.
Oh.
Yes, I might be able to fill in some blanks as the speaker kind of looks up to talk to you. We've heard from the tenders. She lowers her voice a bit, kind of keeping her eyes up to other people sort of coming and going. We have heard from the tenders. They're sending a representative from the sort of northernmost post that they have right on the edge of the Scorched Grove. They'll be in Alderheart in a couple of days. So it's our intention to be back there and to greet them, now that things have thankfully calmed down a bit. These new developments, she kind of looks over towards Brenna, who's sort of nodding along. We have a bigger enemy as well, but this is still quite pressing. So we're hoping that the tenders are going to have more news for us. The initial report that we got from them is grim, unfortunately. Seems like they've been noticing that the grove has been expanding slowly as well, and, well, they haven't been able to contain it in quite some time. But hopefully whoever they send will know a bit more. And then we can figure it out.
Also saw fire bats. They might be related. Not confirmed. Bats on fire.
Yes, I think you mentioned that when you originally did your interpretive dance. Hopefully the tenders can help us with that a little bit. They would be the experts on everything going on in the grove and any type of creatures that is there, and they would be the ones who would know, so.
I'd love to see you guys dance sometime.
Maybe if you're lucky.
Did you lose a member?
We lost 2.
That's right. I keep forgetting that she met Dace.
1 alive, 1 not alive. Let you guess.
You know, it's a 50-50 chance of who is alive and who is not.
Yeah, I mean, either you get it right or you don't. It's 50-50, right?
Yeah. More 60-40.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He's in a better place.
Which one?
He's looking for a girl.
Which one?
The little weird one.
All right, so a lot has happened in the, 10 days since we last spoke. It's been 10 days.
Shit, it's only been 10 days.
Good for him. She takes another, sip from her wine. You can hear sort of Brenna and Ajax kind of, they give a little, chuckle that they're disguising pretty well as they drink from their glass. I'd like everyone to give me a perception check, please. Damn. Okay.
It's a 2.
2.
19.
A 10.
Okay.
4.
Okay. So, Aurora and Elle, you haven't had a whole lot to eat today, so your drinks are kind of hitting you just a little bit harder than they should. You're just
I'm also 12.
maybe put it down for a second. Basil, what was yours? Was a 10, 19, and a 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Basil and Mrs. Q and Apoc, one thing that you do notice is as the sunny silkworm is starting to fill up once more, it seems like a lot of the residents here are starting to come in for a drink after the hectic day that they've had. You do see a few people as they walk in and see, pardon me, your party kind of give you some looks of recognition and a little bit of a wider berth as they seem to recognize you from the chaotic windstorm that almost flattened their town earlier today.
Hmm.
Mrs. Q and Apoc, one thing that you do here, because you rolled so high, one of the booths next to you, there's a family, so a family of 4 with 2 very young little hedges. And one of the little hedges is like on the lap of the mother, and the other is kind of gazing wide-eyed at her as the father is just kind of looking on. And you can sort of overhear the mother just telling a story, giving some hand gestures. You can see the gasp or hear the gasp of the older one sitting in the chair and the younger one who's kind of hiding behind his hands. And what you hear is the mother saying, "And then, when things seemed absolutely hopeless, Henwin himself struck down part of the rock on the crags, and a little piece just like this," holds up her necklace, "fell down, and one of our heroes picked it up. And from then on, we knew that Henwin was always going to be close to us." And you can see the little kid just, whoa, and grabs onto his own necklace as he's looking at his mother. "Oh, so cool. Is this the one? Is this the rock?" And they just kind of chatter for a little bit longer, as the noise starts to drown them out a little bit.
Very interesting.
For you, well, for both of you, it is reminiscent of the play at the carnival that you had seen before the fires broke out in Elderheart. At this point, Brenna kind of gives a cough, pats her chest. "So, what are your guys' plans here?"
Well, I think before we answer that question, I'd like to know a little bit more about how your conversations went.
Brenna kind of leans back, looks over at the speaker, at Riffin on one side of her and Ajax on the other, who kind of gives a nod. And she leans back and forward. "We have a common enemy, it seems. People who aren't supposed to be in our wood. I'm sure you're familiar."
Are they people?
You called them fiends, right?
Okay, those. Okay, I wasn't sure if we were talking about them or we were talking about something else. Because I didn't want this to be like a unification of you two to hate on a different third party that has equal claim to be in this area, because that's just wrong.
No. No, that's not the case,
Okay.
Apoc. She like kind of rubs pulls the bandana down a little bit on her forehead. "We don't know where they came from, and we don't know where else they are. And if they can hide in plain sight, that's a bit of a problem. We don't know what they want, And I think now we at least have the council's attention that things are not great for humble folk in the wood. And we've agreed to do something about it. And as grateful as I am that all of you made that happen, you are not diplomats. And that's where I'm going to stop, just in case.
Just in case of what?
Again, no offense, Rosemary, but you're not a diplomat here. We're providing the bandit services for the council to aid in their defense efforts. But who knows where you're going to go next.
It's what you're holding the bandits off so they make sure that your areas don't catch fire. And you cover that enemy, we cover this enemy. Is that the deal?
The speaker pipes up at this point. It's not so much a deal as it is a sharing of resources at this point. The bandits have a stronghold and they were raided, so they need shelter. Mm-hmm. We can provide that in Alderheart, or at least give them supplies, and they can provide us with extra eyes, especially to the north where we're thinnest.
How does this work though? Because the bandits tried to live in Alderheart, but there wasn't enough food for them. So if you don't have enough food for those bandits that are already in Alderheart, how are you gonna have enough food for all of the people that are gonna be moving to Alderheart while still feeding all the people that are in Alderheart?
Uh-huh. A lot of our problems are because our roads were unsafe due to the bandits. Now we don't have that problem. So we might be able to successfully go about this. We'll have to see. Bracken Mill was just able to provide the Tree City with a very, very large supply load that was able to make it there safely as far as my reports from Bertold go. So hopefully this kind of solves that problem. At least our roads can be safer, but as the general has stated, there's a bigger enemy here. Not just the burning of the woods, which now we can have the tenders to help us, and, eyes on both the south side of it and now the northeast side. But if there's something that's trying to break apart our system that's already so fragile, we need to give it some attention.
Makes sense. You also might want to invest in agriculture. I hear there's some pretty big farms that could use a bit of money down south.
Where?
Mine.
Yeah, you pull up that map.
Marshview?
Marshview's constantly sending us stuff as well. They have shipments going all over the wood. We might be able to increase our shipments. They're one of the farthest away. You can see her just start muttering to herself as she's trying to think out some of the logistics of how to get safer transport from Marshview out to the rest of the wood as well.
Also, fiscally, you should put aside some money now with all of this burnt land that's going to be usable in the next few years to the decade, that if you start putting it away now, you could invest to then bring in new farmland there because the soils can be very fertile. That's assuming that we get our job done.
You see Ajax just sort of move your drink closer towards you as you're talking.
Okay, I'm done. Somebody else talk.
That's assuming that
I
we
have
can
a question.
actually get the grove. Yes, little one.
What about the tenders? If they can't contain the fire, what help are you giving them?
The tenders are... She kind of looks over at Riffin as she searches for the right word. They're a more reclusive practice of druids. They're always taking in new people, but to find them outside of when they travel to Alderheart is difficult. They're some of the farthest and closest to the Scorched Grove itself. They're sort of peppered throughout. Communication is really... You met Elle. I'm sure you remember her. She was the one who helped you get out of the magistrate's office at the Tree City. She is our link to the tenders, and she is the reason why we are getting um, a representative to come from one of the most northern points that they have. We'd love to help them, and that's what I'm hoping that you might be interested in.
Do they use magic to contain and control the fires?
Very much so, but from my understanding, what they're up against is old, something they don't recognize, something their magics can't really touch.
Sorry, what's the name of the contact again?
Aelin.
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 What does Aelin look like?
Mine.
Like, if we're gonna go find this Aelin person, do you have a
I'll have to
general-
get you the actual description in a second. Sorry?
Just looking.
Say it again?
I just looking for what they look like, so we have a better idea of who we're to meet up. Oh, I don't want to speak for the group. This is really up to you guys. I'm just kind of tagging along.
Aelin is, she works with the Tree City. She's kind of the speaker between those of us who live in Alderheart and the Tree of Alderheart itself. She's one of our shapers. She lives in Alderheart with us all the time, but she has a sister who's in one of the groups of the tenders. That's how we can communicate, is that she can communicate with her sister. So some of you have met Aelin, some of you haven't, but I'm sure you'll see her again when the representative from the tenders come. Is this something that you would be willing to follow through with? It was your original, again, most of you. It's the original reason why you came to Alderheart, and now we have a lead. Hoping we might be able to count on you. You can see the speaker kind of like sort of tuck both of her hands together, and you can tell that she's kind of squeezing just a little bit. You see a muscle sort of flex in her forearm.
I think this is a worthy cause.
I would hope that the wood not burning down is indeed a worthy cause. My question was whether you're willing to travel there. It's dangerous.
Oh, to clarify, is this going to Alderheart? Like, is she suggesting that we go to Alderheart to meet with the tenders, or that we go to this
Scorch Grove.
this camp off the Scorch Grove?
She's saying, come to Alderheart because there's someone we can talk to for the tenders. But are you to follow this through? If not, then this conversation's over, kind of thing. We'll find someone else. But the next step is to Alderheart if you want to follow through with it.
Elle, how important is the avium? That's the other question.
Pretty important. But, I mean, I don't think we have the map anymore, but isn't it on the way back?
It sounds like we could just be in Alderheart. There isn't much of a way back.
Oh, well, maybe I'll have to go to the avium on my own.
The avium's right next to Alderheart. Apoc pulls out the physical copy of the map.
Oh yeah, because you have it.
Somebody has it. Just for ease, I'll throw it back in the group.
I thought Cam had it. But...
This is cute. Check your inventory.
Pretty sure, yeah. I knew somebody else had it.
Fancy that.
Humblewood map.
Yeah,
I happen to have that. In my coat pocket, my apron pocket. Here you go. She lays it on the table and uses one of her teapot to hold down one side. Can you open it? It's bigger.
Was there, if you needed to stop at the avium, that could be arranged. I know the tender said they were going to take a few days. I can always talk to Bertolt and see what he can do. Perhaps he can arrange transfer between the Tree City and the avium if that is something you need to do.
Can you teleport us to the avian? If that's how we're going?
Right now, I have the ability to teleport us back to Alderheart. It's sort of a one-way ticket. The tenders said they were going to be there in a few days, and that was about a day ago that I received that message. So, if the avium stop is that important to you, little one, and if our peace talks are at least concluded for now, or you'd be willing to travel to Alderheart to finish them, or at least outside of the Tree City. She looks over at Brenna, who kind of scratches her ear a little. The ear sort of flicks on its own before giving sort of a perhaps kind of indication. Bertolt might be able to teleport you straight to the avium. There are ways to get to the school that don't need to be on foot travel. Likewise, there are ways for the school to get you back to Alderheart. It would be pulling a significant amount of strings, but if it means you'll assist us with the Grove, I would be willing to make that kind of a deal. What are you looking for, if you don't mind me asking? You're quite young to want to go to a school as dry as the avium.
I know you keep secrets from us, and I think I'm going to keep this one from you.
You actually see the speakers, like actually the speaker and I'm gonna say the speaker and Ajax's jaw just kind of like drop and then close almost instantly. And you hear Brenna audibly laugh at this. I like you. I like you, kid. I can see why Emerus liked you too.
You got Moxie.
Yeah, Moxie's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you weird.
This is some old time.
Arthur people.
Like...
At this,
Elle, are you okay with that? With those travel plans suit you, Elle?
Well, does anyone else have business at the avium? Basil, I know that's where you knew some people. Elle deliberately doesn't want to say too much about his family.
As soon as you, okay, I'll say as soon as you call Basil's name, you'll notice he'll like startle because he was kind of like off somewhere, and let's just say for flavor, right? We're all sitting at the table, we all have our drinks. Sir Basil has not touched his drink. He's just like literally just like not speaking, just staring off, clearly deep in thought about something, not touching his drink. And he'll just kind of shake and he'll be like, I'm sorry, what? What? Apologies, my mind is off thinking about something else. What is it that you asked me?
I was just saying how excited you are to go to the avium as well. And she's gonna do a real like awkward like wink. That she's kind of trying to be subtle about, but not really, not that good.
Sir Basil will respond kind of like, at the avium, yes. I have some family who at one point were there. I don't know if they would still be, but it would be good to see them after all this time.
So it sounds like we might have a deal then. Okay. Well, we can likely leave tomorrow. We can finish our peace talks. We'll talk about when we can finish our peace talks, but it seems like we have a plan as she looks over at Ceridian, who's kind of nodding along the way. We'll need to get a jump on this if we're to meet the tenders in Alderheart in a couple days. You might only have about a day-ish at the Avium. Is that going to be enough? Maybe two.
Sir Basil looks at Elle, comes to the group,
Yep.
and then says, I think that will be more than enough.
Great. She takes a big swig of her wine at this. At this point, you also kind of hear some footprints that are coming up behind you, and just sorry to interrupt. Hello, hi. Hi. Do you mind if I have a chat? Sorry, it looks like you're all in. I don't mean to disturb, but this is Quill.
Yeah. It's the person we were trying to avoid, right?
It is the person you were trying to avoid, yes. But you are currently in the middle of the inn in town. I'd still like to have a bit of a chat. Now that things have sort of calmed down a bit. We can set, a date, perhaps tomorrow morning or later tonight after you finished your drink, but I really would like to talk with all of you, please.
I'm gonna look to the group. What's this guy's deal?
We were trying to avoid him. Again, she intends to whisper that just to Aurora, but depending on where Aurora is seated at the table.
Make a stealth check.
Best
8.
be suspicious.
You 8?
8.
All right, well, now I really must insist that we have a bit of a chat, please.
Insight check. Is it a good chat or a bad chat?
Make an insight check.
Yeah, what kind of talk is this?
That's another nat
What's
20.
the tone?
I'm serious.
That's another nat 20.
Yeah, insight
Oh my
is
gosh.
+1, 21.
Put us on mute.
Ooh.
Dang.
Whispers.
This whispers are brought to you by
Or
Owl
brought
Eyes
to you
Art.
by.
We need to learn to read lips, just look very closely.
Make sure to get all your products at Owl Eyes Art, the official sponsors.
Your one-stop shop for all your adventure needs.
Steph, do you have 2 cups of tea on the go? I feel like I'm seeing 2 different mugs.
I actually have 3 beverages in front of me right
No
now.
way.
And there's only alcohol in 2 of them.
Oh, nice.
Apoc just whispers back to Elle, "I'm in trouble.
Make a stealth check. He's looking right at her.
Can I get 3 nat 20s in a row?"
Yes.
Imagine.
That's only a 16.
A 16.
Wait, it depends. Does my... No, it's... I'm not concealing myself.
He's... Okay, you whisper to Elle.
Mrs. Q. Go ahead, Steph.
I would say when Apoc whispers, Elle just keeps her face as neutral as possible.
Uh-huh.
Mrs. Q kind of like looks at the two of them as like, but says to Quill, you happen to catch us at a good moment because
Intimidation check. No,
we've
that's good.
no, I know it's fine. We've just concluded a rather important conversation, so if you would like to drag over a chair, perhaps we can chat with all those here.
Anything you can say to us, you can say in front of the Speaker of Alderheart.
I wasn't gonna pull that card, but
You actually see a couple people in the bar turn at that statement
Oh.
Oh
and just
god.
kind of look. And then you just sort of like, Speaker of Alderheart, Speaker of Alderheart is here. Did you know that Speaker of Alderheart was here? Why would she be here? What's the point? You
honestly,
start to hear a couple whispers.
You probably see Rippin immediately just like holding his weapon.
That's exactly. You see Riffin kind of sit up a little bit straight. He's not a very tall fellow, Riffin. He's actually sort of on the stout side for a Strig, nowhere near the size of Dace. But you see him kind of lean back a bit and sort of give a look around, and then you actually see Riffin just. I think we'll retire for the night. Actually, we'll leave you all to it. As he sort of stands and escorts the speaker out, she kind of like pulls her hood a little closer around herself as you see them actually walking, sort of moving by you and the rest of the.
When she gets up, I get up as well, and to give like full manners, I give like a courtly bow and be like, well, it's been a pleasure to discuss with you this evening. Have a good night.
Yes, you as well.
Before they walk off, just for some extra flavor, can Sir Basil kind of get up and quickly say something to them before they go?
You can try.
Yeah, so I get up and be like, please, Madam Speaker, Riffin, one last word before you go.
Quickly.
And he'll say,
You can see he's looking like over your shoulder, he's not looking at you as you're speaking.
all right, so first he looks straight at Riffin and says, I apologize for our conversation earlier, and my mind was focused on some other things, but I spent some time in my youth in Ashborough and have very fond memories there, and so I'm sorry to hear of your news. And then he turns to the Madam Speaker and says, thank you for keeping your word and for journeying with us to Elderheart and to the Avium. You are truly two honorable people.
You can see as you're talking, like the speaker is like taking a step and just sort of shrinking down. This is happening over the course of a couple minutes as Riffin is trying to escort her out, and she's like, we try. We might not have gotten off on the best foot, of course, but we have the best intentions of the wood at heart. Always remember that. We're all on the same side here. Excuse me.
Of course.
Sorry.
Whatever we can do to help, we...
She's gone.
All right, he
I
says,
actually feel bad.
You can see Brenna is laughing. She kind of looks over and is like, God, you guys are so good at stealth.
He sits down.
Cheers, guys. I'm gonna retire too. And Brenna and Ajax will also kind of leave the table and leave you to speak with Quill. I forgot his name. Quill's sort of waiting there this whole time, just sort of sits down on the edge of the table and... Right. Well, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, it seems. We've certainly got a bit to talk about. Eyes kind of going over towards Elle. I'd like to know I'd really like to know what happened today and why. Um, let's start at the beginning. How about? And I'm gonna suggest that we take 5 minutes for a breather. But
You can't be mad at me.
Griffin's not there. I made him leave for a reason.
Like an Irish accent.
What? Yeah.
Potatoes.
Potatoes.
What do you want to do with us?
Toity. So maybe start at the beginning. What happened this morning? How would I start? Because you were all at the epicenter of a explosion of air that almost ripped down our home.
Elle tooted.
You are going to have to do a little bit better than that there, friend.
It's true, I tooted.
You did this.
I'm just thinking what the heck to say. It's like,
Every so often, things happen that are out of our control. This was a situation that we did not foresee. If we had known that it was a possibility, would have been more careful. We would have ensured everybody's safety. We would have removed ourselves from the situation, but it came upon us so unexpectedly that we did the best we could to control it. And we are genuinely sorry for the fear that it caused people and any damage that it caused. We recognize that this is a peaceful place where people share their burdens, but we are new here and there are burdens that we can't share. And it was these burdens that brought about this geological phenomena.
Meteorological?
Meteorological? Was it the ground shaking? Was it
was
just the wind?
and
It was the
It's
wind.
yeah.
Okay, meteorological then. We recognize that people are probably afraid, but rest assured that we are leaving imminently, and it will not happen again, or at least not because of us.
Or if it does, we're sorry.
You see Quill kind of take a deep breath, sort of let it out. Thank you for your candor, Rosemary. I appreciate that. I'm sorry if I came off harsh. That's not who I am, obviously, but I'm glad you're all safe. It just we're peaceful here. We're too far away from the sea for anything like that to happen, so you have to understand that it was terrifying and scary, and people got hurt. They're better now. People did get hurt, but they're okay, and just I needed to make sure. As the leader of this town, you understand.
Of course.
You know, as a leader. Kind of looking at you, being the one who spoke, Rosemary.
Are you gonna tell anybody about me?
I mean, I wasn't. How do you mean?
Are you
I'm going to tell our
people that-
resident. Go ahead.
Are you going to tell people that it's my fault?
I mean, was it your fault or was it an accident? I need to tell our residents what happened, but I mean, I just want to tell them that they're safe. There's a few folk that are a little uneasy. You can kind of see as he looks over his shoulder, there was one table that was just kind of looking over, sort of watching as Quill was talking to you, and then kind of quickly looks away, back drinking their drink. How do you mean tell people?
Last time this happened, And even though it was an accident, it was still my fault. And then everything changed. So I just want to know if you're going to tell anyone and if everything's going to change again.
This has happened before?
My count
Elle's
was
just
2.
gonna
Is yours
nod.
count more than that, Elle?
This has happened way before I met all of you. You grew up near Marshy, didn't you, Apoc? I mean, you're definitely older than me, so
Yeah.
a million years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up near there.
Did you ever walk by the grove with all the broken houses? I don't know if they're broken anymore.
Did
I
I?
haven't been back
Let's
there.
ring the bell.
Yeah. I mean, back when I was your age, about 40 years ago. What happened?
Well, I just wanted to play with everybody else. But they wouldn't let me play with them, and I got really upset.
Was it wind then, too?
Yeah,
Is it always wind?
it's always been wind. But that time was pretty bad.
Hmm.
I broke a lot of things and I hurt a lot of people.
You didn't hurt anyone here that bad. Couple bumps, couple bruises. Our healers took care of them. I'm sorry I made you say all that. You're too young to have those kinds of memories. Those memories are for people who are old like me.
Well, I don't think I'll come back to Bracken Mill if people are going to remember what happened. Just like I can't go to Marshu anymore.
People
That's why I live
here.
with Master Waira. That's why I don't live with my dad and my family anymore.
People here have short memories. People everywhere have short memories. When you get as old as I do, super old, you have no idea. The stuff like that doesn't really matter. I just need to make sure that our town is safe, and that I had a chance to speak with you all. Saw you walking away earlier. I thought you were trying to skip town before we had a chance to talk. And
I
you're
think that's
always
what we were
welcome
trying
back
to
to
do.
Bracken. Pardon?
She just kind of looks at the group and like, I think that's what we were trying to do. Just not.
Oh,
Or
well,
Mrs. Q.
Mrs. Q pipes up saying, I will confess that we were concerned about this conversation, mostly because we don't know you and we don't know the people of Bracken Mill, and we were concerned for the safety and the well-being of our friend. But I can see that you are a caring leader who desires to see his people safe and well. And you have been nothing but goodness and kindness since we arrived. And you have treated us with the same level of respect and care that you treat the people who live here. And so, for my part, I am sorry for putting off this conversation longer than it needed to.
I appreciate that, Rosemary. I do. And we're a community here, and I learned from one of the best leaders that I knew. Where we follow Henwin, you can see his hand go towards his the piece of rock around his neck. And none of you seem to, and that's fine. But we are part of a community here, and we're a small community in a big community of Humblewood. And looking at Elle, you're always welcome here, little one. Rookie, right?
Yep.
We have nothing against Hanwin. To be honest, I didn't hear much of Hanwin down south, so
Do you want to know why we carry these stones?
sure.
You can see Quill kind of just like, he sort of sits up a little straighter and he puts on a little bit. The first time you saw Quill, he was presenting to a small group of people. He was telling a story, and you get kind of that air once more. I know I bent his little feather. You get kind of that air once more. And Forever's watching Basil, Aurora, those of you who are being a bit more quieter, kind of maybe just keeping an eye, excuse me, on the bar. You can see people who have been sort of watching you. As soon as Quill starts to get a little excited, you can see them kind of relax a bit. The legend goes, and how Bracken Mill was formed here, and why we all follow Henwin. There was a dispute between the followers of Henwin and those who didn't believe in the Amaranthine. And it got bloody, it got long. And there's a sacred place deep in the mountains that's said to be the final stand of some of the very last people who believed in Henwin. And in order to help them survive the battle and help their word go on, Henwin struck down a side of a mountain, raining down sacred pieces of rock. And because they knew that their god was with them, the followers of Henwin were able to fight back against the people who didn't believe. And they were able to push them out of their homeland. They're people not like you and me. They were outsiders. They were people who aren't native to the woods. And because of Henwin's kindness and their watchful eye, they were able to help us out. And it's said that one of those rocks was very, very special. It was magical, touched by Henwin themselves. Whether it's true or not, that's our legend. And that's why we try so hard to make sure we have a community here. Because that's what Henwin would want. They would fight for our community and our people under their eye. They always will, and that's why we wear these.
They're bloodstones.
Bloodstones? No, they're precious. Why would they be?
A big rock, you murdered a whole bunch of people just because they weren't from around here? It sounds like a bloodstone to me.
No. Our community was under attack.
They attacked you, or you were both here and you killed all of them?
They attacked us first.
Were they fiends?
Fiends. It's a legend. It's not really specific.
Okay.
Just that our community was under attack and we needed to protect it. And like any war that goes on, the legend goes, a lot of people died. But when Henwin gave us that precious stone, the rock that was able to rally the troops, shining bright like a star to guide you, that's how we were able to succeed, and that's why our home is now safe. Henwin is not born of violence, but Henwin gave us the ability to make ourselves safe again. That's all it means.
May I ask, in your legend, how long ago do you suppose this was?
Oh, so much longer ago than me. It's been passed down from generations. It's a myth. It's a story that we like to tell. I'd love to believe that it's true, but I mean, if it was true, then that rock is out there. And it's a treasure, but it's a legend.
Can you describe it in extreme detail?
He sort of sits back. I mean, it's from the side of a mountain, so gray? Maybe with brown in it?
Perfect.
Apoc's a little bit tipsy. Apoc's a little bit tipsy at this point. He's gonna cast locate object.
Elle's gonna try like drawing what Quill is telling.
Great.
I'm gonna get up at this point and go over to the bar and order like dessert.
Great. Okay, is it a single object?
Describe the name or describe or name an object that's familiar with you since the direction of the object's location within 1,000 feet. Can locate a specific object known to you as long as you have seen it up close within 30 feet at least once. Alternatively, the spell can locate the nearest object of a particular kind, which might be more accurate.
You see everybody in the bar. You're just like pulled in a direction as almost everybody in this bar, including Mrs. Q, like has a pull of a gray-brown rock.
You have a gray brown rock.
As for dessert, well, we've got some apple pie. We have
yes, apple pie. Apple pie. That's literally what I was coming for.
Right. Easy enough. You okay? You're going a little side. You good?
Is that the same story that you know, Mrs. Q? Do you know a story?
You know a story?
You have one of those rocks.
Are you a follower of Henwin?
Mrs. Q, not begrudgingly, but like,
Because we've seen.
yeah, everyone in the group has seen the pendant that I wear. She pulls it out from underneath her pinafore or whatever she's wearing.
How does it look compared to Quill's?
Is it bigger?
I don't think so. I'm not quite sure how big Quilt is.
I mean, they're all like, it's like pick up a rock off the ground. That's literally what it looks like. They're all different sizes, all different shapes. It's basically whatever spoke to the person when they went looking. It's a symbol for them.
The from the front, just like as it sits, it's gonna look like a rock. It's gonna look like a rock.
Okay. Nothing special or neat about it. Just so we have a visual picture.
It's like in a
Like a casing, or like a
in a
crown?
mount. Like it's held. I never really drew it out or anything, but it looks old, like I've worn it all my life.
Mm.
And from the front, it just looks like a rock. I also follow Henwin, and I have for a long time. She says to Quill.
You see Quill's eyes like flick down to your necklace and his hand goes to his own. Great. I knew Henwin was being followed, but I didn't know anyone followed it in the way we do. You're not from here, are you?
No.
Make a deception check.
Well,
And I'd like everyone else at the table to make a perception check for me, please.
Mrs. Q doesn't feel like she's lying here.
Okay, yeah, if you're not lying, you're good. Make a perception check then.
Mrs. Q does say, sorry, you can do your perception thing first if you like.
Did anybody roll 11 or higher?
Yes.
12.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm
17.
gonna message you guys. Go ahead, Mrs. Q.
She just says to
Cool.
Quill, thank you.
Peter.
The legend I know is slightly altered in that it was the standing stones that were struck by the lightning sent by Henwin, not the side of the mountain.
Standing stones?
Yes.
Sorry, give me a second.
Do tell. Sorry.
This whisper is brought to you by.
This whisper is going to take part in 3 parts. Okay, who was it? It was Aurora, it was Elle, and it was Mrs. Q.
In the meantime, I'm eating my apple pie quite vivaciously, and as I do, I get to like the crust, and I don't touch the crust. And you can see me take like a little napkin and roll it up, and stick it in my
Like roll up the crust?
in like a napkin and put it in my purse.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Sir
Are you
Basil.
eating that later?
It's for Maitland.
For who?
It's okay. It's a friend of mine.
Maitland?
The group would notice that Sir Basil has still not touched his drink.
Ooh. Okay, Elle. And it was Mrs. Q.
My phone to actually read this message.
Oh, yes. On the couch.
I gotta put it away for later because if I give Maitland his treat now, he'll be way too hyper, and that's not what you want to see in this place. So it's getting too close to bedtime.
Ooh, what's Maitland? Show us Maitland.
He's been here the whole time.
Have I seen him?
No.
Maitland.
You see like another Vulpin just a head fling towards you.
Hello.
You whistled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you Maitland?
No?
Did something perk your interest?
Not I heard a whistle.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. Ear kind of flicks a little. Looks very much like a border collie. Goes back to his drink.
Not what I was expecting, but okay.
You're in a group full of animals. Of course there's gonna be one that like reacts.
Who's it?
Who's a good boy?
Makes me think of Zootopia where someone just starts a wolf call and next thing you know the whole party is, oh!
Yeah.
Oh, we should watch that movie.
It's a good movie.
Mrs. Q, as this conversation is happening, tucks her necklace back into her apron and pulls out her crochet and starts to crochet with her favorite crochet hook.
Ah. Right. Thank you for staying. You said you're leaving tomorrow? Post haste?
That's right.
Yes, that's correct. We'll be staying in our rooms here.
Right. Thank you for speaking with me, and good to know that our legend at least lives on outside of here. Never know what it's like in the big city. Have a good night.
You too, Quill. Perhaps we shall see you before we leave in the morning.
And may the winds of Elle flow beneath the wings of Henwin.
Pleasure to meet you all. Rosemary.
My name is Rookie.
Gives a nod to you and just starts to waddle away and waddle out of the sunny silkworm.
What's that?
All right, guys, what you doing?
Mrs. Q wants to ask, what's his name? Farron? The silkworm guy?
Yeah.
She goes up to the bar and asks, we were very comfortable in our room last night, Farron, but there was a bit of a draft from the window and my old bones just can't handle it. I was curious if there was another room that we could stay in tonight, if we could switch rooms.
Absolutely, certainly. I'll get that window checked out. I've been meaning to for a while, anyways. It's a good reminder. Just go to the one down the hall. That one's open for tonight.
Thank you.
I think someone's gonna come and assassinate us in their sleep.
I was gonna say
Are you standing by me right now?
No. I'm sorry, this is out of game.
I like a chillier room, so I could take the drafty one.
Well, lucky you, it just opened up.
Character lasts one episode.
Oh, look at that! Camembert decided to come back in.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to do before the night was up?
Sir Basil would like to ask Mrs. Q. So eventually, I assume at some point in the night, we'll just lean over and ask. So we've heard Quill's story of the legend, but we never heard your version of the legend. Never heard of the standing stones.
Are you the only person sitting around me right now, or is everyone?
I assume we're at the table.
Yeah. Okay.
It's up to you guys. Whoever wants to be there can be there.
Mrs. Q pours herself another cup of tea from her teapot and says, "The standing stones are a sacred place of Henwin, deep within the mountains, and they are rarely visited because the journey is arduous and treacherous, but they stand nonetheless, put there presumably, we believe, by Henwin themselves. It is believed that during the Great Hedge Wars of legend, that when all hope was lost and the hedges were without any aid and the battle looked like it would be won by the enemy, that Henwin sent lightning down from above and struck the standing stones. And a hero who was present, who was leading the last remnants of the army, was strengthened by the power that they found in the stone that was. Lightning strikes something and it breaks off.
It was severed. That was broken off.
Yeah, that was broken off, and it gave the leader the power of will to rally the troops and push back the enemy, and the battle was won. The legend of the stone has been carried by the hedges ever since. It's rumored to be a very powerful thing.
So does that mean your stone is just a symbolic gesture?
How could it be anything else? How old do you think I am?
Don't answer.
A noble knight would never ask such a question.
Indeed. I would count on it.
I heard that's also where we get the phrase "never hedge your bets."
Probably correct.
So, Mrs. Quillam, why would
Yes?
you, for such an important story, important legend, myth, belief system, why would you choose to hide it?
I've never intentionally chosen to hide it. but in my experience, these types of stories are best received when they are asked for, not when they are pushed.
Okay, I can respect that.
How'd you get your stone?
Found it like everybody else. People say
Roll an insight check if you want.
Um,
No.
Deception or persuasion, Mrs. Q.
Did we roll that one?
yeah, that's cool. Why are you rolling 2?
Have advantage.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice.
I have a 17.
I have a nat 20.
I mean, based on your roll, let Basil know. Let Basil know the vibe he's getting, Mrs. Q.
You get the impression that Mrs. Q is not saying anything. And you notice as she, now that we're sort of sitting alone, while she's telling this story, she's sort of like playing with her pendant. And you notice that on the back of the stone, you get like just a glimpse of it, and you're not really sure, but it looks like it may be scorch marks.
It says Maiden Alderheart.
Oh my god, I'm getting flashbacks. Maiden Waterdeep.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
All right.
I wanted to talk to Elle while we were
Go ahead.
like falling asleep.
Yeah, go for it. So you're all able to kind of go Aurora taking the chilly room, and it's quite breezy in here, Aurora. But yeah, Elle and Apoc.
Are we rooming together?
I don't know.
Are we all in the same room? That was going to be my question.
If you
Alex,
want to
I
go
think
into
you
a
wanted
room
to
and go
do-
separate, or
It's whatever.
It's
just like
whatever.
as we're like camped out or in our own beds
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Elle's got some stuff she wants to do before she goes to sleep too.
Okay.
You gonna do that first?
Doesn't matter to me.
Somebody pick something.
Okay. Hey Elle. You hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Are you sure it's just like, you know that thing that you did with all the air and like back in Marshview too? Are you sure it's just air that you can do? Like the wind?
I mean, I think so. I don't really know how it seems to happen. I mean, I've tried to do it on purpose. I mean, I've tried to figure out where all that power comes from, but it doesn't really feel like I control it. And the wind is who I talk to, so it's just always been wind. Master Wayra says we come from a line of like wind druids, so that's why that makes sense.
Like the water's never spoken to you? Is there people that talk to water?
Maybe. There must be.
You remember that night out in the field?
The time with the big tidal wave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
It kind of reminded me of that.
But then, who did that with the water?
What if it
Where
was
did that come
you?
from? Do you think it was me?
Maybe. Kind of similar,
I don't
eh?
know. But it hit me really hard. Why would I do that on purpose to myself?
I don't know. Sometimes when you're falling asleep at night and there's a big rush of water, it just hits you unexpectedly.
I guess. I
It's
don't
not
know.
the-
I've never really even been around water, like a big body of water.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just happened twice in apparently 10 days.
Yeah, that one was weird, but that I think was a different kind of magic. I don't know, maybe this is something we can ask about at the avium.
Yeah. I don't know. I
Maybe
was just
somebody's
curious.
got to know something.
Mhm. But how cool would that be if you could like do that on your own?
I don't know. It's pretty scary when that happens.
It's scary because you don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, but I don't want to be doing things that hurt and destroy people and houses. That's what all the bad guys do in the stories.
The bad guys do it on purpose, though.
Yeah, but if I can't control it, what if they think I do it on purpose? What if I become a bad guy?
And it's your choice to make, but as long as you try to fix it afterwards, then you're not a bad person. Bad people
Yeah.
do bad things because they want to do bad things. Good people make light of bad situations.
Yeah, but when you've done a bad thing, and even if you say you're sorry, what if the people you say sorry to don't say that it's okay?
People suck,
Yeah, I guess people do suck.
but like, you got us around, so you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
Plus, you've never like done anything too bad. Nobody died.
Yeah, nobody died.
It'll be okay. We'll figure it out.
I hope so. So, can you tell me more about how things are on fire?
That's what we gotta learn. I'm thinking if you can get this whole water thing figured out, and that was you, then maybe we could use that. But from what it sounds like, and Apoc just goes on and on and on
Yeah, that's right.
about all of the details that they know and like the towns that are on fire and the different fire that we've run into and the scorched people and the
You're reenacting
elders.
everything, like you're doing the
Yeah.
dance for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Elle, was there something you wanted to do before bed? Something else?
Yeah, she's gonna go into her pack, and there a window in this room now,
Sure.
or is there no window in this room? Okay, it's just not a breezy window.
Correct.
Okay. She's gonna do two things. So the first thing she's gonna do is kind of open her pack and take out some paper, and she's gonna write a couple of letters. She's gonna write 3 letters, and then she's gonna fold them up. She's gonna go to the window and put each of them kind of on the windowsill, and then use the breeze to blow them out the window as high up as she can.
Okay, easy enough to do. You can see them as they get sort of carried a little bit farther than just a normal breeze that would flutter a paper off. They seem to scatter and just get carried away.
The other thing she's gonna do is go into her bag. She's gonna say, "Hey, Apoc." She says, "Apoc, look,
What?
I got this from the tried and true."
Oh my god, you
Nice.
What's
But
inside?
well, that's the thing. There's something funny about it. So, do you have your bow ready?
Yeah.
Is Miss Q in the room witnessing this?
I think so.
If you want to be, sure. You
Wave
can
your
all be in this
glasses.
room. Everyone can be in this room.
So, from what Elle can remember, she got this cookie tin, but it had like illusion magic on it. So she's gonna
Something like
Was
that.
it
Yes.
illusion? Yeah. So she's gonna put it down in the middle of the room. She's gonna cast Dispel Magic on it to see if anything happens to it.
Okay. I think it was transmutation actually. So you're gonna cast
Okay.
dispel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So are you in the room?
Yes, it would seem.
Okay, because I wanted Sir Basil to not be in the room, but so
That's-
whatever
Yeah.
happened.
No problem.
And I'm in the other room, so
hold on, I gotta Google something here.
Mrs. Q, I think in my head, she's like sort of like has been in her own world and then sees you like step into the middle of the room, Elle, and put this cookie tin in the middle of the room.
Where did
And
you
suddenly
get
it's like, what did I miss?
Yeah.
Sitting there with her crochet, but looks up way too late to actually
that? Stop it.
stop anything. So this is happening just as you wish.
Okay. So you cast Dispel Magic. Making it up on the fly. Is it closed or have you opened it?
I think I've opened it because I knew what was in it before, so I'm gonna open it.
Okay, you're gonna open it before or
Apoc.
after you cast Dispel Magic?
I'm gonna open it before.
Okay,
I'm gonna
roll a
open it and
d20.
put it down. Just do I add anything to it?
Great d20.
You got a mimic.
16. That's what I'm
16?
worried about. Yeah.
You open it, and same as before, you just see a bunch of sewing supplies.
Darn. I thought there was gonna be something else in here.
Close it and open it again.
Do you still cast
Okay.
a spell?
What
are you
yeah,
gonna do
Elle's gonna she's gonna put the lid back on. She's gonna
Okay.
cast Dispel Magic again.
Okay.
We're going to sleep, it's fine.
Yeah, you go ahead and cast Dispel Magic.
Okay.
Can I-
just
Sorry, would that be a new roll or is it the same roll?
so I'm actually just gonna you know what? Dispel Magic is 3rd level or lower for the enchantment. So yeah, that's fine. It's not a roll, Mrs. Q. So you go ahead and cast Dispel Magic.
Oh.
You let it loose and you see this just little sort of around the tin, the cookie tin itself. You think it worked?
Okay, I'm gonna open it.
Alright.
She's gonna like sneak over and like flick the lid open.
It is empty.
You broke it.
Man. I mean, now we can use it and fill it with stuff.
Fill it with sewing supplies.
Maybe Mrs. Q can actually put real cookies. I turned to Mrs. Q because she's in the room, be like, maybe you can put cookies in here.
Mrs. Q sticks her hand in her apron and pulls out a few peanut butter cookies that she had made earlier that day and puts them in Elle's tin.
Aurora's already snacking on.
She's come back to the room just for
God.
cookies.
Oh.
All right, yeah, you put peanut butter cookies and close the tin. You have peanut butter cookies in a tin.
That's true magic.
This is peak Humblewood.
Oh my god.
That was ridiculous.
I'm in tears.
All right. Did anybody else want to do anything before bed? Aurora, Basil, Aurora?
I think Basil wanted to do something. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So the only thing I wanted to do was, like, is from our room. Is there like a balcony or somewhere where like Basil could go to be like alone in private?
Sure. Why not? We're building these rooms as they go, so you can have one with a balcony.
So I'll say Sir Basil's out on the balcony by himself, so kind of away from all the ruckus that's going on inside. Maybe he's got his like sword leaned up against the side of the building, and he's kind of leaning against it, and he's just like deep in thought. All night you would have seen that like didn't really speak much. When he did speak, it was kind of like because you kind of startled him out of his like thoughts. He didn't touch his drink, so he's just sitting there leaning against his sword, deep in thought, and he's like fidgeting with um, that bracelet that Cam gave him. Just kind of like looking at it, but just like deep in thought. And that's that.
All right. Aurora, Mrs. Q, anybody wanted to do something?
Go ahead, Georgina.
Only that you notice that Mrs. Q seems like particularly worn out tonight compared to other nights. She's looking pretty frail and kind of stretched. Like butter spread over too much bread. Kind of.
Love it. Love that quote.
I actually really like that quote too. Aurora?
A couple things very quickly.
Yeah.
First, I'm gonna in the room. Maitland, can you get the room ready? And for those while you're not there, you can picture like the room is swirling around Aurora as like the bed gets kind of made properly and gets pulled back a little bit. You see like the nightstand get rearranged. All of the clothes and pack get sorted and put on the table just perfectly. Meanwhile, Aurora is pulling out like a small piece of like tin wire, sticking half of it out the window and reeling it over to the bed. As she like gets on the bed, kind of like laying down, like kind of just propping her elbows up. He's like, Peppermint, if you can hear me, I didn't find Cam, but I think he's heading your way.
Of course.
I'll try and find out where he's going. Talk soon.
No!
Yeah. That was good.
You don't get a response.
It's fine.
Ooh.
And then I pull the tin back and get myself snuggled in bed, and I just, Maitland, I got a treat for you, but I'm gonna save it for tomorrow because it is way too late and you're too strung out as it is. And I tuck in and go to bed.
You think as you try and fall asleep, you think you hear Maitland's footsteps pacing back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
Whether it's your imagination or real, that's what you think you hear. All right. As you all snuggle down for sleep, some of you a little bit pissed off at the fact that there's no cookies in your butter cookie tin.
There's cookies.
Some of you very, very
Now there's
pensive,
cookies.
and some of you a little worse for wear. You are all able to find sleep. Don't click that button yet. I didn't give you permission.
I'm not.
You're all able to find sleep in your rooms in the sunny Silkworm. And it's peaceful for you, Elle, basically for everyone, despite the kind of day you've had today. What awakens you, though, and as you open your eyes, is that it is still dark outside. But you hear bells going off. Ding 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 from the outside of the sunny Silkworm. And you do hear some shouts. You do not get a long rest, as it is still the middle of the night.
Do we get a short rest?
You can get a short rest, but you do not get a long rest.
Fuck, I just used a bunch of spells.
Yes, you did. You hear these bells, your eyes pop open, and you do smell on the air the faintest smell of smoke. What do you do?
So Basil will rush to the balcony to look outside.
Okay. You go ahead to look outside, and the Sunny Silkworm is an inn sort of on the Bracken Mill is kind of like a semicircle with the circle facing north. So that's where the road is. That's like it's sort of a northwesterly facing. So it's facing the savannah that you just came from. It's facing the road that you didn't come from, but that's where it is. The Sunny Silkworm is on the back of the main tree. So you are facing the opposite direction if you go just to the balcony outside your room. You don't see anything from where you are, but you're able to sort of like jump high enough or get enough leverage that you can kind of tell there is sort of a glow to the northeast. You can't see anything, but you can see almost a glow coming from that general direction.
From our memory of just like exploring Bracken Mill, like what is towards that direction?
Orchards,
Just
farms.
Get up, get up.
Um,
Bells, bells, bells.
So Basil will kind of run back into the room, like kind of like grabbing his sword, throwing his cloak over his shoulders, and just kind of yell to everyone like, "Get up! Something is happening outside."
We're already gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
You ran to the window.
All right. Well, then I follow up. I chase after the group.
If you're all kind of running out and running out of the Sunny Silkworm to that main platform, from the front of that platform, so facing the main square, you're able to see that to the northeast of you, it seems like there is, and this is relatively flat, like you're in kind of a savanna forested area, so you have flat fields to the north of you with lower orchards kind of surrounding Bracken Mill, the perch of Bracken Mill. They're known for their peaches here. And you see a fire, the tops of the flames of fire that are peeking out over one of the orchard fields, basically to your right hand side, to the east side of where you are. You can see a couple people shouting orders. You can see just like, hold the fire line, wet down some of those trees. We can't let it hit the town. It's so close, what do we do? Where's Quill? We need to get Quill, wake him up. You can see people just struggling and scrambling. You see a few of the, like, you would notice them when you first walked in, just hulkier figures kind of like the build of Dace, who are very farm strong, starting to like go towards any type of well or water system that they had and trying to pull some buckets. And you can see a couple people running towards the flames. It seems like most people are just trying to save the town, or at least execute some sort of fire protocol within the town. What do you do?
Can I burn a primeval awareness?
Burn primeval awareness?
Yeah.
How big of a
6 miles? Sorry, 1 mile.
1 mile?
1 mile phase means aberration, celestials, dragons, or elementals. Fae, fiend, or undead.
Fae, fiend, or undead?
Yeah.
No ping.
No, sorry. Aberration, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead.
No ping.
No pings?
No.
Ooh. It's nothing out of the typical. No fiends here.
Maitland, do you know anything? Can you what's going on? Does anybody know what's? And I'm gonna draw from my deck to try and infer what message I would get from spirits. Which
Go for it.
So the spirits are telling me that that the fire is a symbol of burning passion, and that like we need to just stay impassioned to each other. And I look, since Apoc, you're right next to me. Do you feel it too? And you suddenly feel like this warmth wrap around you as you gain let's see, temporary hit points equal to you get 10 temporary hit points.
Ooh. Aurora, it's beautiful.
Then I look over at Mrs. Quillam. I think you can use a little bit of warmth and protection, especially in a town that you seem to be hiding from, and you can also get 10 temporary hit points.
Apoc just puts an arm around Aurora's shoulder, looking up into the bright, burning flames, and says, "It's beautiful, like an aurora borealis."
There it is.
Nice.
One of the old farmhouses is on fire. Hurry before it spreads to the orchard. We're gonna lose the peaches. Running by you, shoulders bumping into you.
Mrs. Q starts making her way towards the fire train and the fire.
Yeah, Sir Basil will do the same. Try and help out wherever he can.
Right.
I was gonna yell at Apoc. Stop flirting with everybody. Remember what happened last time? And then runs towards the fire. You have poor choices in girlfriends. Runs away.
I'm gonna immediately go, "What?" Okay, let's
Please don't kill us.
Let's park that and talk about that later.
Put a pin in it.
Start rushing.
All right, I've sent an owl bear, so you
Oh
know
my
what
God.
you come across.
Mm.
Pretend it's night. Hold on, there's a password. I know it. I need to write it down.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Yeah.
Where did you send it? Oh.
I love your fire drawings.
Oh, you're able to get in, no problem?
Yep.
I just clicked it.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, great.
Right.
You know what? The art tools on this one are not good.
just word art fire and drag it on.
I tried that. It didn't
Oh,
work.
it didn't work.
All right, so you, as you sort of run, you see a couple people who are running both there and back. You see them carrying some like pails with them. As you're passing one of the like stronger. Oh, you know what, Andy? You pass your buddy Andy, who's kind of looking just. Have you seen Quill? Have you seen Quill? I know they were trying to wake him. I don't know if they found him. Have you seen him?
No, we haven't.
Okay, all right, be safe, be safe. It's huge. I don't know what happened. And you come upon, God, it's really blurry.
Mhm.
You come up the road between all of these beautiful orchard trees to find a massive fire that is roiling on the main farmhouse, which is this one here. And you see that it seems to have spread to a shed, part of the start of the orchard, the start of the trees, and just off to the side. Oh, thanks. As you sort of come here, you see people trying to put out some of the smaller flames over onto some of the orchard, trying to save their crop and at least let the old farmhouse burn. But they sort of look at you just. The farmhouse is empty. Don't worry about saving it. Save the orchard if you can. Just try and get the flames out. Just try and get the flames out. As they run and sort of leave you all just staring in this main space. What do you do?
Mrs. Q, you'll have to tell me if you'll allow this, Andrea. She would like to run as close to the spreading edge of the fire.
So, show me where.
I guess by the orchard.
Like,
The leading edge,
Right
and
here?
she wants to. Her thaumaturgy ability allows her to put out small campfires. So my hope is to like, as things like spark and try to spread, she'll just sort of run and put out all of the sparks that try and catch, so that she can keep it contained.
Yeah, certainly. So yeah, with thaumaturgy, I think you're right. I think it's just. You can cause flames to flicker, brighten, dim, or change color for 1 minute.
Hang on, sorry, it was druidcraft, not thaumaturgy.
Druidcraft? Okay, great.
Yeah, you instantly light or snuff out a candle, a torch, or a small campfire.
Perfect. Yeah. So with that, you're able to take care in that space that you're in of all of the little embers that are sort of flicking off. And you're able to sort of keep it. You can't do anything about the big flames, but you're able to prevent it from spreading to like the tree next door. So you can keep that under control if you focus your efforts there, for sure. Um, what's the rest of you doing?
What do we do? What
I,
do we do? What do we do?
I have an idea. Okay, so I'm not sure how cold damage works, but if I were to like stab a tree with cold damage, could I like freeze a tree?
Um, there would be a frosty effect.
Like, would that put out if the tree is on fire? Would that put out fire?
You can certainly try.
I will try it.
Great. All right, where are you headed, Basil?
So I'll go up to the orchard as well, and I assume I'll go up to the nearest tree. I will. Let's see. Sorry. What ability will you use? Any gaps? Kind of like just jumping into action, not really thinking about it. You're gonna see Sir Basil pull out his sword and just rush the nearest tree. As he's about to like stab it, you're gonna see just like almost like a white light appear from the hilt of the sword, and then just like almost like as if it's just like cold frost coming from it.
Is this a tree that's on fire already?
This is a tree that's on fire.
Okay.
Okay.
Checking you're not like
And-
damaging a
No, no,
tree
no.
that's fine.
No, no. And he's just gonna try and stab the tree to inflict cold damage on this tree.
Okay. Roll the cold damage that you would do. It's easy enough to hit the tree, so just roll me the damage. And we'll see if it's enough to put out this tree that's on fire.
Okay, let me see here. Let me see how this works.
What is it that you're using exactly?
It's Gift of the Chromatic Dragon.
Right, okay.
Oh no, sorry. Is that what I'm doing? Hold on. Okay, no, sorry, not that one. I would do. Okay, yeah, Gift of the Chromatic Dragon. So I'm infusing my weapon with whatever element.
So with Gift of the Chromatic Dragon, just so you're aware here, chromatic infusion. Oh, here we go. You infuse it with one of the following damage types. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
For the next minute, oh boy. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, roll your.
Now, in
You know
this
what?
case, would I only roll the extra 1d4, or would it be like total damage?
No, so it's just 1d4 damage of the. So it's just 1d4 damage. If you roll a 3 or a 4, it's going to be enough.
Okay.
Hmm.
I rolled a 1.
You roll the 1. You can see as the ice sort of spikes around the tree that it's definitely doing something. It's dampening a lot of the flames, but the main branch of the tree is still on fire. It doesn't seem to be recatching because of the ice damage. It's not like it's just water. You actually kind of froze the tree, the outside of the tree a bit, but it didn't put the tree fully out. But this is now active, and it lasts for a minute.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, so you're doing that. Elle, Aurora, Apoc.
If I can, I'm gonna run towards the barn, and
Go for it.
I'm like, Maitland, can you try like doing something? And here I can like reward you. And I pull the pie crust out of my bag, and I throw it at the barn. And as I do, Maitland, in his mischief, is going to do something, and I need to roll to see what that is.
Go for it. It's just an extra crispy pie crust.
It might be. Let's see on that. Okay, so For the time being, as Maitland flitters around the barn, you get a sense that the fires seem to be laughing at us. That's it.
Nice.
Give it time.
Okay.
He'll figure it out.
So Aurora's just face to face with the burning barn that seems to be laughing at her right now, and none of you know why. It just happens. Elle, Apoc.
Elle's gonna run up to, I think, the shed. It seems the smallest. Would it be the smallest of everything that's here right now?
Yes. I mean, smallest fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second smallest one.
Okay, Elle's gonna run up to the shed. No one else is around it. See if this actually works. How far away are the shed and the barn actually? Would you say they're within a 30-foot radius of each other?
They're about 15, 20 feet away, yes.
Okay. 30 feet, 30 feet, okay. I was gonna try casting something and she's never cast before, so she's not super sure if it's gonna work.
Do
But
it.
She's gonna try. Yeah, she's gonna try. So she's gonna kind of put herself between the shed and the barn with the hopes that what she's doing will do both. She's gonna cast Create Water and kind of start a bit of rumbling, like almost rain, but it doesn't seem to come from any clouds. There just seems to be like a big cube of 10 gallons of water kind of coming down in that area.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a giant barn on fire. 10 gallons is not a lot.
No, it's not.
It's not, but you definitely see sort of the edges between, this is 30 feet. So you could get like the corner of the shed and the corner of the barn as it starts to, you sort of hear the, as it does seem to start affecting the fires. You can see that some of those areas are not burning as bright, and you are getting the wood wet underneath. But it looks like this was an old barn, an old shed, uninhabited, hadn't been touched for years. Perfect reclaimed wood were not to be on fire in this current time. So it's
Such a waste.
there's a lot to burn very quickly and very easily. But you're doing something. It's definitely working. Apoc.
I want to look because I don't really have anything to help deal with this right now. I want to look and see if there's anything that's like specifically causing the fire, like a source where it's coming from, either a person or some sort of magic or unnatural thing that's just causing this fire.
Yeah, you can go ahead and make a perception check. Where are you gonna stand?
I mean, I guess like the biggest one is the orchard, right?
The
Which one's
biggest
the
one is the
biggest?
barn and the orchard. That's currently
So I'm just gonna go somewhere in this area and
okay.
like look at whatever one I think is bigger.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check. It's gonna be at disadvantage because it's bright flames in the dark at night. So your contrast is kind of hurting your eyes.
I have dark vision.
It's still hurting your eyes.
Well, it's not bad. That's a 17.
A 17?
Yeah, 13 to 14.
Yeah, okay. As you are trying to sort of look around and just sort of see what's going on and what's causing it, this fire that seems to have come out of nowhere, you see a massive face appear in the fire over the barn. This like elongated sort of skull-like face with like almost looks like hair coming up into a flame of its own as it seems to sort of expand out of the fire itself into a torso and is going to take one hand and swing it towards all of you who came into a neat little line for me.
Ooh.
And that's where we're going to end.
Oh no.